Thank you very much. Mrs. Sitaraman, that was very insightful. You really laid down the foundation for this discussion very well. And I don't think any amount of presentations can really match the brief overview and the insightful presentation that you gave us. Thank you so much for that. I'm from this company called Smart Technologies. We are based in Calgary, Canada, and Smart Technologies is actually the innovator or the inventor of the interactive whiteboards. I'm just going to give you one brief overview of Smart so that you can understand and appreciate where we come from, and perhaps give us some credibility as when we talk about what is it that teachers and students really need. We were founded in 1987, and we shipped the first interactive whiteboard in 1991. And we are the pioneers in the finger touch technology for more than 20 years now. There are about 1.6 million smartboard interactive whiteboards shipped worldwide. The product is actually called the interactive whiteboard, but since it's come from the company Smart Technologies, it's become synonymous. The interactive whiteboard is now synonymous with smartboard. We are quite proud of that. 1.6 million interactive whiteboards means that our boards are there in 1.6 million classrooms, which means that there are, at an average, perhaps about 35 million students, teachers, using our boards every day. When the founder of our company invented the product, he thought he had created a tool for the corporate, for a meeting room or a boardroom kind of an environment, and that a tool is going to be very useful and very attractive for making your presentations. But very soon we realized that the education sector had really wholeheartedly adopted the product. We didn't even realize it, but before we knew it, education had adopted this product well. And as a result, our focus very early moved towards education. And in the last about 18 years, we have visited schools in more than 100 countries. People in our company have been going back and forth. We go and meet, we speak with the students, we speak with the teachers, we speak with the IT coordinators, principals, decision makers, all over the world. And we get a feedback from them. We learn from them as to what is it that they want, what is it that they're looking for. And we bring that feedback back, and we put that feedback, and we use that feedback to create better, easy to use, intuitive products. And we're not just limiting ourselves to hardware, but also the software as well. And we believe that as a result of having worked with education over the last 20 years or so, we have come out with very compelling products, both on the hardware and on the software side. We have experience of doing some very large-scale deployments. UK, Mexico, New South Wales in Australia, and US are some examples. UK, I can tell you, this whole bringing ICT into the classrooms, it's not just a buzzword here in India, and it's not something which is just, let me put it like this. Even in UK, perhaps 5 years ago, they were having this discussion, what we're having the discussion now. They were having this discussion about 5 or 6 years ago. And that's when they decided to put interactive whiteboards into the classrooms. So in about 5 years, they've gone from 0% penetration in the classroom to about 75% penetration. That means 3 out of 4 classrooms all across the UK, all across K-12, have got interactive whiteboards and related ICT solutions in the classrooms. We worked with them. We've been working with them from that very early stage till right up to now. We have about 60% market share in the UK. But what we've learned from there is that we've learned as to what are the challenges, what are the expectations of the students and the teachers, principals, IT coordinators, at each and every stage of the introduction of the product. What kind of questions they want, what are they really looking for at the initial stage of introduction of technology, and then at the later stages of introduction of technology. So with that introduction to the company, I will move forward with my presentation. This slide, so the topic is the priorities and the challenges in creating a digitally equipped classroom. As far as the priorities are concerned, I'm going to leave it really to the decision makers here. But what I'm going to elaborate upon in my presentation are the challenges that we have seen to take place in the other parts of the world, and how these countries like UK, Mexico, or US have overcome those challenges. When we talk about the classroom components, the 21st century classroom components, we see these products already out there being deployed in the classrooms. It all starts with the teacher computer. You need to give a computer to the teacher, and once the teacher has a computer, he or she has to share that information with the classroom. So the next thing you put in is a projector. And then once the projector is put in, we found that, or the education authorities found that there was a challenge, that the teacher had to move from the computer back to the board, and then to the computer, and then to the board, and in that process lost control over the teaching, lost control over the classroom. Traditionally, how the teachers have taught in the classroom is that they walk into a classroom, stand in front of the board, pick up a chalk, and start teaching. And you're looking at the audience, you're looking at your students, and you have a control over the classroom. But that control was lost when the computer and the projector was put in, because the teacher had to keep moving between the board and the computer. So that was overcome by the introduction of interactive whiteboard. Now a teacher can walk into a classroom, stand in front of the interactive whiteboard, and deliver the entire lesson from the interactive whiteboard itself. So we find that it has become an integral part of teaching, and it is a topmost priority. And the next are the digital resources. Obviously, it's all ICT-based teaching, so the digital resources are an important component, so you need to have those. And as far as the other equipments are concerned, I'm not going to go into those details, but at some point of time, they would also find their way into the classroom. And I'm going to move on to the challenges that we find came across in other parts of the world. And how those challenges were overcome was, the main factor was standardization. The decision makers need to make sure that there is a seamless experience for the teacher, and not just the teacher, but the students as well. That it has to be a consistent classroom technology from room to room and from school to school. You cannot really have technology in just one room in a school and the traditional way of teaching or some other form of teaching in the rest of the school. As Principal Mrs. Sitaraman mentioned, that she wants to have now they have about 5 computer labs in a school of few thousand, 4,000. So you need to make sure that the technology is available all across the school and in all the classrooms. The platform has to be consistent for the teachers to create, share, and leverage the digital material. There has to be a consistent opportunity to reinforce and build the students' and the teachers' technological literacy, and a consistent software platform for the students to present material. Whether it's PC, Mac, Linux, it has to be consistent. You need to, as far as the software for creating and delivering the lesson activities are concerned, it needs to be able to work across all the 3 platforms. And the integration of technology, it enables the ease of use. It helps in the faster adoption, and it on a reduced learning curve. The modular implementation is also desirable. Where by modular, what I mean is you start with a PC, add a projector, add an interactive whiteboard, and you should be able to add additional pieces of technology. If you want to add a document camera in a particular classroom, it should be easy to add that, and there should not be too much of a learning curve for the teachers when a new piece of technology is added into the classroom. I'm not going to talk about purchasing here. So conceptually speaking, what are the keys to successful adoption? There has to be a clear vision. We need to, and what I've heard today and even yesterday, one thing is clear, that everybody agrees that the use of technology can transform teaching and learning. And it's all about learning with technology and not about technology. We know that for sure. We are a technology company, but we like to call ourselves more an education company rather than a technology company. And the focus has to be not on the technology, not we have to get the best product, or we have to get the cheapest product, or we have to get this, or we have to get that. The focus has to be on the teaching, and it has to be on the learning. When you look at a product, you have to find out, you have to figure out how is it going to help me